not too long ago, there was an incident where bullets were being left at a scene, things weren't getting tested, and there was some, we had a show about it, respectfully, a show about where the Houston Forensic Science Center, or the evidence that was being collected wasn't being collected or wasn't being tested in a manner that should have been proper, or wasn't being documented as it should. And without going into that, following up on what Jimmy asked, is, what are you doing, or what is your mission to make sure that things are being collected, the DAs know about if this particular bullet wasn't collected, and defense attorneys are being made aware of these kind of things. What have you done to prevent something like this from happening again, or what are you looking?
So you're talking probably particularly about the crime scene stuff.
Yes, that's exactly what I'm talking about.
And crime scene. So the crime scene unit that came across from HPD, this was a known challenge at the outset. What came across were all classified officers. That's what had been doing crime scene investigation at the start. And it was the design of the organizational setup at the start that it would gradually transition to be a civilian unit. It's been a rough road on that. It's not been easy. It's, and I try to get people to understand it's really easy, and it gets hyped up a lot that it's been HFSC against the officers, that the officers were bad. There's some really good people in there. They're well-intentioned. They wanted to do a good job of it, but some of them, the training that was started with was from a different era. The expectations of what needs to happen at a crime scene have progressed, they've changed, and it's a really difficult thing for those people that are in those uniforms to make that transition. So it's had its rough spots. We've had issues where it has been difficult, particularly with the union, and I think the culmination of it was about 3 months ago. It's about that 3 or 4 months ago. Well, about a year ago, we brought in some outside crime scene experts to audit through, and the audit report that they had was, it pointed out some serious issues. We have known there have been some serious issues in there. And then I've been discussing with Texas Forensic Science Commission about how best do we provide a disclosure to TFSC. And you got to keep in mind, though, crime scene, latent prints, and digital, the multimedia evidence, sit outside of scope for TFSC. The state regulation that creates TFSC, those disciplines really aren't part of what TFSC has to be looking at. They don't have to be accredited. Crime scene is the last unit that we have that we need to get accredited. We've gotten latent prints accredited, we've gotten the digital multimedia unit accredited. So it was a difficult road to even find how best do we disclose this to TFSC.
Right.
And so that was what we, after the state AG had rendered an opinion off some questions from TFSC about what laboratories have to disclose, that decision created a good framework for us to easily be able to disclose and know what we needed to disclose to TFSC. So that's what started the round in the press of the 65 errors in there. I mean, they're errors that we've known have been there. So that's now precipitated moving on to starting the Crime Scene Academy. The shortest way for us to finish out the transition of crime scene was we brought in a whole new class of people. We'll run them through as about a 400 plus hour set of coursework. Then that'll be followed by observed casework, observed testimony before we actually sign them off to do stuff independently. And that coursework includes stuff that we've got people from Public Defender's Office and the DAs and HPD and the medical examiner and, like I say, ETL drawer researchers that are doing research in this area.